Well, we know it's the season for gift giving, and Joe Biden has decided to give Donald Trump a transition gift, something that, really lets him know that he is following in the footsteps of a guy who was completely over his head and incompetent at the job. Joe Biden has decided to gift Donald Trump for his incoming administration World War III.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty, and this is the Afternoon Drive. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That will give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Please like and share this video. Put it on your social media platforms. It's the only way that we get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for helping us at the Afternoon Drive. Well, it was just over a week ago that Joe Biden greeted Donald Trump warmly, was all smiles, sitting by a nice crackling fire there in the Oval Office, and promised a smooth transition. The Democrats spent less than 24 hours in any type of self-reflection as to why they lost the election. It obviously came down to sexism. It came down to racial prejudice. It came down to the fact that the country has just decided to go ahead and give fascism a try. Just constantly missing what this election cycle was saying. And the fact that even in the states Donald Trump didn't win, he moved those states further to the right. Every day, we are seeing incredible, huge gains as they continue to count votes in California and New York and New Jersey. It's amazing the right shift that this country has taken. One might think that revival was breaking out, but I'll get into that in another monologue at another time. That all said, the power structure, and I'm not talking about Joe Biden. I'm talking about the military-industrial complex. The one thing they know that Trump has rallied support around is his disdain for the endless wars. Because you see, for the military-industrial complex, that's the gravy train. That's the money. Bankers make money during times of war. Arms manufacturers make money during times of war. Civil unrest does well for the alphabet agencies, and it's how we sustain our quote-unquote rightful place in the world by keeping everybody else at some kind of war with one another. And the last thing they want is this guy that runs on peace through strength, but we're really going to opt for peace rather than having to constantly flex our military might. Why not gift him World War III? Once Donald Trump became president-elect, both Zelensky and Putin made overtures to the new incoming administration that, yes, it is time to bring this war between Russia and Ukraine to an end. In fact, there was a peace agreement on the table, ready to go. And now Joe Biden has decided to authorize Zelensky that he can use long-range U.S. missiles to hit targets inside Russia. American-made weapons landing on cities and towns and hospitals and homes and the Russian homeland would be seen as an overt act of war. And apparently, Joe Biden doesn't care. Maybe he doesn't even realize this could just be the military-industrial complex, the deep state, the puppet masters have just decided they're going to do this whether Joe Biden is on board with it or not. But nonetheless, a conscious decision has been made that this is what's going to be done. Here's what's tragic. We are not defending democracy. When this whole Ukraine-Russian war began, we were told this is about defending democracy. It was never about defending democracy. Zelensky is not a democratic ruler. As soon as he came to power, the first thing he did was he outlawed the opposition party. The party that ran against him, he outlawed, and they jailed members of that party. He shut down the free press. He shut down the free media. And he took provinces within Ukraine that were still loyal to Russia, and he punished them, and he was bombing them. That's why Russia went in to begin with. This was goaded by the United States, prodding Ukraine, come on, join NATO, come on, come on, come on, come on. And Russia has said, no, 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 no. You're not going to expand NATO right up to our border. You're not going to do it. You're not going to have a country on our border that's part of your union that you can then put missiles on their soil aimed at us. Not going to happen. And by the way, if the roles were all reversed, we wouldn't want Mexico entering into some type of agreement with Russia and then putting Russian missiles on the Mexican border aimed into the United States. So this was all escalated on purpose. And it was all the idea we're going to hit these sanctions with Russia and it will cripple and destroy them. And what it did, exactly what I predicted 3 years ago now, it forced Russia into an alliance with China and even India, and now nations of Africa. And now you have Russia has a stronger economy than the United States. All you have to do is look around on social media, and there are people who live in Russia who aren't actually Russians. There are people who've immigrated there, some from places like Australia, places like England, places like Scotland, and they make videos. And it isn't propaganda pieces. They're just walking around Russia showing you what life is like. And I mean, packed shopping malls, and they've got thousands of them. I just watched a video the other day of a tool trade show in Moscow. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tool manufacturers from places like Italy and Spain. And I mean, everything looked like anything you could order on Amazon. It's just the names were different. I told you I watched a video one day of the company that took over all of the abandoned McDonald's in Russia. Changed the name, kept the look the same, kept the menu the same. And I told you, their Big Mac looks like what a Big Mac used to look like in the 1960s. It's big, i.e. the name Big Mac. You've seen a Big Mac today made in the U.S., the beef patties are about the size of a silver dollar. That's about it. They're pitiful looking things. I mean, this Big Mac was huge. The fries were huge. The Coke was huge. And it was about $2 for the meal. So this whole, we're defending democracy. No. Neo-Nazis are the army of Ukraine. We have money to support neo-Nazis, but we don't have money for the hurricane victims here. You think I'm kidding? We tend to put things out of our mind quickly. Remember what happened in Hawaii, the fires? Nobody talks about that now. Those people are displaced forever. We don't talk about that anymore. We're not talking about what happened in North Carolina just a little over a month ago, and hundreds of thousands of people still without homes, without utilities. And FEMA is broke because we had money for illegal migrants and we have billions to send Ukraine, but we don't have money to take care of our own.
I met Sarah outside the trailer she's living in with her husband, 2 kids, 2 cats, and 2 dogs. Like almost everyone here, their home was destroyed and condemned, and they also lost their cars and their jobs.
Everybody that I've talked to says they're getting no help.
Their trailer was donated by a volunteer, not FEMA, and they have to pay for their own porta potty.
I had to rent this so that we would even be able to use the bathroom.
So you have to pay for that yourself?
Yes. Yeah, it's $130 a month to rent one.
Sarah's one hope was U.S. Small Business Administration disaster loan. But then she got this voicemail.
This is a call from the U.S. Small Business Administration about your SBA disaster loan application. Due to a lapse in congressional funds, new loan offers will be delayed until Congress provides additional funding for the disaster loan program. We understand how frustrating this delay is.
What did you think when you heard that?
You know, it's been, we already have it so rough, and to not be able to get the financial and, you know, help that we need it's really awful.
Some just down the road have it even more awful, living in tents and small RVs with no power as winter approaches and temperatures now dip into the 30s.
There's times we don't get fresh meat because there's no way to keep it cold. Because you got to choose between heating the house with a generator, especially the ones who have kids, and keeping the food cold.
Wintertime's coming. These folks cannot be forgot about. Just because you don't see this on TV, it don't just go away. This is not going to go away for a long time. We got to get those folks out of those tents and in those FEMA campers. How's it going to happen?
A lot of the locals I've spoken to are particularly upset about a FEMA compound they say is much nicer than the donated trailers that they are staying in. It's hard to see, but this right here, I'm going to slow down, is the entrance to the compound. There's a lot of security. The public can't go in. We drove up onto a hill behind the compound for a better view, and you see how massive it is. A sea of government trailers. It's so organized and secure, so different from how the people we met are living here.
FEMA's not connecting with the county's not connecting with the state, and you got this big rat race.
Volunteers like combat veteran Robbie Ammons say housing is the biggest issue, and red tape. Families left in tents and RVs because of the permitting process, he says.
Next week, temperatures are going to start getting in the 30s at night. We're afraid of more hypothermia, folks that are living in the mountains, and there's probably going to be more bodies laying around if we don't start getting these people in some level of temporary housing.
This is disgusting. And this is what we voted out 2 weeks ago. Let's be clear on that. This deep state oligarch that is not about America first. It's about their own global agenda, their own wealth, and you and I are simply pawns, and most of the time to them, we are in the way unless we're willing to be used as cannon fodder. That's it. And Donald Trump becomes their enemy, and the reason they hate him with all of these appointments he made, remember, don't gauge his appointments on how the media is reacting. Gauge those appointments on how Trump's enemies are reacting. You say, well, it's the same with the media. I'm talking about literally the enemies within the government. Is Matt Gaetz really an unhinged loon who should not be the attorney general? Or is Matt Gaetz going to clean up the DOJ? And Hegseth will clean up the Pentagon. Do you see this? See how this is working? Just like RFK is going to clean up Big Pharma. See how this is working? That's why they're terrified of Tulsi Gabbard. See, Donald Trump ran on reform, and reform is what he's bringing. And that has the power structure within Washington terrified. That's why we're going to find out, they raped cats when they were 9 years old. And, all this crap is just going to start coming out of the woodwork now. They tried to steal the election in Pennsylvania, the Senate seat. Casey could not relinquish power. They were starting to count the ballots of illegal aliens, ballots incorrectly marked. And yesterday, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court stepped in at 7-0. 7-0. It's a liberal court. 7-0 said, stop, cease and desist. You cannot count any of those ballots. Bump-a-dum-bump. So the Republican did win the Senate seat of Pennsylvania. I mean, the deep state is flailing, and they are screaming, and they are lashing out right now. And yet, the people in places like North Carolina get no help, but we've got money for Ukraine. And this is what they're trying to hand off now to Donald Trump. And here's the thing. If he tries to reach out now to Zelensky and Putin, watch how they'll say he's going against the official State Department position on helping Ukraine, and he has not yet taken the oath of office. This is an impeachable offense. They are trying to set him up every way they can to take him out before he's actually sworn in. Understand that. This is how the Democrats work. They do no self-reflection on why they lost and why they've lost the people, because they don't give a flying flip about the people. The Democrats and the power elite, the military-industrial complex, they are the enemy. They are. And they may have lost on election night, but that doesn't mean they have yet given up the fight. You know, there's plenty of documentaries out there that even after World War II ended, there were obviously still people committed to the cause that didn't give up the fight. But take heart. We're winning. And we're going to win. And take heart. We've got the man coming and a cabinet coming that really will put a stake through this monster's heart.